Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Thank you for joining us. September 21st, 2024. We're live here at News Talk 830 WCCO every Saturday morning for the Minnesota Real Estate Show, hosted by my friend, Mr. Scott Wohlmering, Mike Overson, Luminate Home Loans, myself, Ryan O'Neill, with the Minnesota Real Estate Team and RE/MAX Advantage Plus, Adam Hartung, Midwest Money Management, in studio with us today. We got a great show. It's going to be fun. You're welcome to join us at any point. Guys, good morning.
Yeah, good to be here. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Like Ryan said, this is the Minnesota Real Estate Show. MNRealEstateShow.com is how you can check us out. We're going to talk everything like we always do, real estate related, what's going on with interest rates. A lot on Facebook and in the market right now about the Fed dropping interest rates and 50 basis points. What does that have to do with real estate and what it has to do with home interest rates? And we've got the guru of finances here, Adam Hartung, to kind of dig into that deep.
Here we go. We're going live. Adam, good to see you, buddy.
Yeah.
Here we go. Going live on air in WCCO. Well, good morning. Welcome to the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Appreciate you joining us, everyone, and I hope your weekend is starting off well. It's a little rainy in downtown Minneapolis coming in, but we're grateful to be here at WCCO and hope you and your families are having a good start to this weekend, maybe doing something fun and getting out and about. Again, this is the Minnesota Real Estate Show, Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. We are a local show. It is hosted by Mike Overson of Luminate Home Loans, Scott Wohlmering, and myself, Ryan O'Neill of the Minnesota Real Estate Team and RE/MAX Advantage Plus. You can join us anytime, 612-294-6949 by phone or text, 612-294-6949. You can interrupt us. We talk, again, all things real estate, mortgage. Adam Hartung, Midwest Money Management, is with us, so we'll be talking some interest rate stuff. Scott, good morning to you, buddy.
Yeah, good to be here. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Like Ryan said, Minnesota Real Estate Show. We're here every Saturday at this time. You can catch us on all the social media networks as well. Interesting time. Obviously the Fed came out with a 50% basis point drop, I think on Tuesday or Wednesday. And what's happened with interest rates and what is going to happen with interest rates. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Then we're going to just kind of talk a little bit about what's going on with the market. About 2 weeks ago, we said, hey, we kind of walking into this perfect storm, this good perfect storm of interest rates possibly coming down. Very, very high pent-up demand that's kind of been sitting on the market, watching interest rates drop. And for those of us that have listings out there, you can tell the activity is creeping up. We've dropped almost a point in the last 60 days. That brings a whole lot of buyers into the market. So we're going to talk about what that looks like now and what we think that's going to happen over the next 6 months.
Yeah, again, Mike Overson, Luminate Home Loans, longtime partner with our show, with our team. He and his crew do a wonderful job. Guys, interest rate wise, low sixes, 6.15% range for a 30-year fixed as of September 20th. So as of yesterday, guess how much that's down in 1 year, year over year. So at the exact same date last year, guess how much that's down, guys?
I would say we were at 7 3/4 a year ago. So I would say we're down one and a half.
Adam, what do you think, bud?
I don't think we were we that high?
I thought we did.
I was thinking just over 7. I think closer to 1%.
Yeah, so we're actually down 1.18%, 1.2%. So significant. Again, year over year drop into the low sixes. Adam, I know that there's a lot of thoughts and commentary about this big interest rate talk this week. They said that the Fed dropped rates half a point. Maybe help share your insight on that.
So the first thing you need to understand is that when the Fed changes the short-term rate, it really is the very short-term rate. So
Car loans, credit cards.
Well, even car loans and credit cards. Well, credit cards probably will be affected. Car loans, yes, they'll be affected but they're like 5 years. But
Correct.
we're talking about short term, like 30 days, interest rates. So things like money markets are the things that are going to be the most directly affected. So good money markets, excuse me, have been paying around 5%, give or take just a little bit. And so if you haven't already, you're probably going to see an immediate drop of that full half point on what money markets are paying.
So you're making 5%, now you're making 4.5%.
Now you're going to be making 4.5. That is correct.
Interesting. We're going to talk more again with Adam Hartung, Midwest Money Management, Mike Overson, Luminate Home Loans, longtime partner with the show. Before the first break, guys, we also like to give a real estate update, just comparing some year-over-year numbers. And so listings here, and this week I think we're going to mix it up a little bit. I'm going to share. These are statewide numbers. Normally we share just Minnesota numbers. So new listings, Scott, this past week were down 4.8%. There were 8,915 new properties statewide. Pending sales down 10%, 6,242. Pending and closed sales also down close to 10%. The median sales price continues to tick upward, 352,000 for the median sales price. And here's the last one, the days on market. To what Scott was just talking about. Sellers, agents, buyers are feeling this. Average days on market in the state right now is 38 days. That's up almost 21%. So Scott, a little more inventory, few more listings, pendings, still there, but prices are staying strong.
Yeah, they're staying solid. You know, I would argue, however, and I think everybody that is working in the Twin Cities that is an agent has felt this. There has been a reset over the last 3-4 months. Depending on what price range you're in, not all price ranges, the entry level is still at least staying tight, maybe gone up a little bit. But for the most part, I have not reduced a listing in 4 years. My last 3 listings I've reduced. And so if you're not looking at numbers, and I thought I was, looking at numbers in the last 30 to 60 days to pinpoint a number, you can miss it. And in this market where the thought process is everything sells in 2 minutes and 5 seconds, if it does not, if you sit on the market, it's a detriment to you. So you do need to hit that number really, really good. You have to be precise right now with the listing number.
Yeah, important to do. We've got a fun show today. We got a lot to talk about with the market. You are welcome to interrupt us here at any point. 612-294-6949. I did want to give a special shout out to he's an agent on the Minnesota real estate team, a wonderful guy, Al Mays. Al has been a longtime builder in Minnesota, Western Wisconsin. Today is Al's wedding. He is just an all-around class act. He does so much for our team, for our foundation, the O'Neill Foundation of Hope, and just in the market. Super high respected guy. And so I just wanted to give a special shout out to Al for his wedding today. And also, guys, a dear friend of mine I grew up with, Rob Tupy, is turning 50. So the 50th, Rob. Love Rob, his family, Nikki, just great people. So lots of good stuff going on, guys.
Yeah, congrats to both. And Al was not just a builder. Al built an exceptional house.
Yes.
I have sold a few of Al's properties in Credit River. An exceptional builder.
High end.
Yeah. Very good, and a very, like you said, reputable. One of those builds that when you get done, everybody's happy, which is rare.
Yes.
As Adam knows.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. His dear daughter Courtney is an agent on the team with us as well. Love Al and Courtney. So looking forward to celebrating the family tonight, folks. This is the Minnesota Real Estate Show. 612-294-6949 is how you can join us at any point on WCCO or on your favorite social media channel. We'll be back after the break. Thanks for joining us, guys. Social media, appreciate it. We got Adam Hartung here. This guy is the smartest man in the room by like 6 times. I mean, let's be honest.
There's no doubt when he comes on. In fact, we are going to do a show. In fact, I talked to Corey about it. So stay tuned in this next month when you guys are on a show on divorce and how it affects real estate, how the money flows.
Hmm.
And then I actually have a friend at the gym that's going to come on and talk about dating after a divorce and
Wow.
how that works. So it'll be an interesting show. I talked to Corey about it. But there's a lot of misconceptions on, hey, we get divorced. I'm on the loan. I'm not on the loan. What happens with our money? How does it get split? So that should be a fun show. So probably the third week of next month, we'll get it. We'll get
Adam's
it
just
organized.
smiling. He's like,
I mean,
thanks,
there
guys.
is-
Leave it to Scott to think that divorce is a fun show.
Well, you do what you know. You do what
You
you
do
know.
what you know.
You do what you know.
Kind of stay in your lane.
Yes.
I will say that divorce is hard on finances.
Oh,
That
yeah.
is for sure.
Yeah, and it's misunderstood. That's kind of why I thought about doing a
Yeah.
show on it, because I get calls multiple times a year, and the misunderstanding of, well, he's on title or she's on title, but not on the loan. And so what happens? And who controls the money? And the title company will only cut one check. And if they won't cut two checks, I mean, there's just a lot that goes into it.
Yeah, it is. It's something, not a happy day. Unfortunately, with this business, the real estate business, a lot of transactions are that way. Again, to Scott's point, depending on who's on the loan, a title, do you have a divorce decree? Where is that in process? Can one party or the other get a loan? Can they afford, so there's just so many twists and turns.
Well, here's one that comes up a lot.
Yeah.
So you've been separated. You've got all your divorce documents done. Been separated for 4 or 5 months. So you go out and buy a house, and then you buy your house, and then you get divorced a few weeks later. That your ex has all the rights to that property, 50-50 in Minnesota. That is a mistake that is done multiple times. How it gets by an agent and a loan officer, I have no idea, but it happens.
They always say 1 to buy,
Two
2 to sell. 1 to buy, 2 to sell. Adam Hartung, Midwest Money Management. I do mean that sincerely. Wherever you are at in your financial world, this is the guy you want to talk to, in my humble opinion, having known him for 25 years. He treats everybody with care, with kindness and understanding, whether you are super rich or whether you don't have anything at all. One of the many reasons we love you, bud.
Thanks, bud.
Yeah.
And we've known each other for 30 years.
30
Yeah, believe it or
years.
not, Yeah.
Do you know that we met all together through
Same time.
Scott?
Yeah,
so I was
same.
working on Scott's team. We go to this event. Scott says, "Yeah, this guy's doing a community class." This was before when you could still do those
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
So we show up, and there's Adam teaching about money. Essentially, it was in Rosemont.
Well, money in relation, and that's the other thing. When you're thinking about hiring a financial planner guru like Adam, money in relation to involving real estate in it.
Sure.
And that's the reason I wanted Ryan and other people to see, because a lot of financial planners, they go down that one road, and Adam looks at, and still does, the whole thing in relation to how you can involve real estate in it,
Yeah.
which in my opinion is one of the biggest things that you should have in your portfolio.
Adam, a lot of good stuff. You got a great team. You got a great. I know we're about 30 seconds from going on, but you really have a great team of people. Maybe talk to folks
Yeah.
about it a little bit.
Yeah, we do. There are 7 people on our team, and we've worked hard. We're celebrating 25 years. Actually, this month, September, is 25 years since I started Midwest Money Management. But the people are really what makes it special.
Yeah, really just a good group. We're going live on air here. Thanks for joining us, folks. Hope your weekend's going well. We got Adam Hartung coming up here in a bit, too. Hey, welcome back to the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Hope your weekend's going well, everybody. And thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining us. We talked a little bit about interest rate wise. First segment, with the Fed dropping rates a half point, a long-term 30-year fixed rate in the low 6s, down about 1% year over year. Market numbers, you're seeing average market time in the Twin Cities increase. I wanted to invite on for our ongoing discussion Adam Hartung. Adam Hartung is a certified financial planner professional and an accredited investment fiduciary. He's the president and founder at Midwest Money Management, located at 17316 Kenyon Avenue in Lakeville, Minnesota. Securities offered through JW Cole Financial Inc., member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through JW Cole Advisors Inc. Midwest Money Management and JW Cole Financial and JW Cole Advisors are unaffiliated entities. Adam, thanks for coming on, bud, as always.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Ryan.
So were you surprised with that rate cut? Any thoughts on that?
You know, I wasn't. And there's a Fed rate watch tool that you can go online and what it actually shows you at any given time, you can go to any future Fed meeting and look at the probabilities of what people in the betting markets believe interest rates are going to be. And it was pretty close to 50-50 between whether it would be a 25 or a 50% rate cut or a 0.5% rate cut. But I think going into the week, it was something in the 60% range that most
50%.
most investors
50
that were
basis
betting on it thought it was going to be a half point. So that was kind of the consensus opinion.
What should, with that rate cut, with the current state of the world, we shared some numbers about the markets and everything. What should people be doing money-wise right now? I mean, is there uncertainty? We got an election. We got all these things going on. I mean, what do you think? I know that's a big question, but
Yeah, I don't think there's anything that should change because of the 0.5% rate cut, personally. I mean, there are all kinds of things we can talk about what you should do, but really where the rate cut is going to affect people directly is going to be in their money market accounts, which had been paying about 5%. They're now going to be paying about 4.5%. But if you had money in money market and that's the reason that it was there, you know, the difference between getting 5% and 4.5% isn't going to be enough for me to say, oh, well, you should do something different, or we need to move that money someplace else.
so does that include banks as well when you say money market? Is that like the local bank where you have your money invested, or how does that work?
Yes and no. So this also affects bank interest rates, but the problem is this. Banks don't necessarily always have to be competitive. Like, people get complacent and once they park their money at their bank, they just kind of leave it there. And so over time, eventually people will start to kind of force banks to bring their interest rates up now that short-term rates are higher. But from what I've seen watching our clients and watching banks, they're just not, because they don't have to. So money markets are going to be when you actually go seek out a bank. Like, there's some online banks, and then there are mutual fund companies that have money markets. And these are people that are actively looking for the highest yield that they can get on their cash accounts.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the banks aren't just doing it because people are too complacent.
So all over Facebook, the immediately after the Fed dropped it 50%. I saw loan officer after loan officer. Oh my gosh, come and get your rate. It has nothing to do with home interest rates, folks. But what do you think the trend will be?
The trend for it?
Yeah. So it dropped.
Yeah.
Dropped short-term rates. Normally affects long-term rates. What do you think is going to happen?
So here's the problem. The problem is that we are still in an inverted yield curve in the United States. And I know that that's a term that people have probably heard, but maybe don't fully understand what that means. But
Explain it to them.
So let's talk about the yield curve on the savings side. So let's compare a money market account, which is completely liquid, to a CD.
Okay.
So if a money market account is paying a 5.5% interest rate right now, so their bank's going to give you 5.5% to park your money completely liquid, or you could lock it up into a CD for a different interest rate. Would you expect that interest rate to be higher or lower if you're going to lock your money up for 10 years?
Higher, much higher.
You would expect the interest rate to be higher.
Sure.
And that's a normal yield curve. It means that rates are higher the longer you go out on the yield curve. It's not that way right now. You would get less interest in a 10-year CD than you would get in a money market.
Wow.
And that's because they know the market is so volatile that they're not willing to put it.
It's because
Bet on it,
people
that makes
believe that interest rates are going to go up over time, and so they don't want to. The banks aren't willing to give you higher rates over a longer period of time. The problem, how that relates now let's talk about like something like a mortgage, because interest rates on a loan work the same way. The shorter the loan term, typically the lower the interest rate is going to be, and the longer the loan term, the higher the interest rate is going to be. Well, what drives that, though, is market forces. In order for rates to come down on mortgages, it means that people have to take that money in their 4.5% money market and want to buy something that's a longer term rate. They're actually buying the bonds. That's what drives the yield on the mortgages. So my question is, a 10-year treasury bond right now has an interest yield of 3.73%. Are you going to, if your money market money, which is liquid, went from 5% down to 4.5%, is that going to stimulate you to go buy a treasury yield at a 10-year treasury at 3.73?
No.
It's not. And yet that's what has to happen for long-term rates to come
drop.
down. So long-term rates did come down over the last year, right? You just said they came down 1.1%.
Yeah.
Short-term rates did not come down over the last year. They were still going up. Now short-term rates came down, and mortgage rates actually, the 10-year Treasury yield actually went up 0.1% in the last 3 days since they cut short-term rates.
So I have a question for you, Adam. With that interest rate cut and just everything we see online, on TV is about the cost of everything, inflation. Does that impact cost of things for all of us? Adam's thinking.
Well, yes and no. It doesn't affect things directly, but if it does translate into lower short-term financing for businesses, for example, so especially for smaller companies, the problem is, and the reason why I don't think it's going to have a big impact is that so many of the big companies, they don't need financing right now. Companies like Amazon and all these big companies have so much cash, they're not leveraged. Smaller companies need to borrow money, or startup companies, they need to finance because they don't have enough revenue. And so if the rates come down, it helps those companies, and it could potentially make some of those products cheaper because their cost to operate is less.
Hey, each week we like to feature a few of our listings for the Minnesota real estate team and RE/MAX Advantage Plus. Mr. Ted Bergstrom has got a great one. This is in Minneapolis, 45 Laverne Avenue, listed for $925,000. It is a 5-bed, 4-bath home, 4,000 square feet. It's in Tangletown, a beautiful location, the Tangletown neighborhood of South Minneapolis. It steps to Minnehaha Parkway. And Ted said it's got a perfect blend of updates and the 1920s charm. Oversized lot with a private backyard. And he's actually doing an open today. He'll be out there Saturday, this afternoon here today from 1 to 3 p.m. That's Ted Bergstrom at 45 Laverne Avenue in Minneapolis, $925,000. Scott, I've seen the pictures on that one. Super nice looking property.
Very, very cool. Hey, I'd like to say hi to Bob Holper is watching online. Hey, Bob. Bob was my trainer for the 2 shows I did, the physical shows I did. So if you are out there and you are looking to get in shape, Bob Holper with Lifetime on Egan is absolutely an incredible trainer.
Yeah.
And a great guy. Sold him a house. Go ahead.
Yeah, he is a super good guy, good trainer. Excited, guys. We have a new producer every Saturday with us, Mr. Ryan, who is I'm telling you, he's got the voice, the $1 million voice. Ryan, share a little deep thought with us here. Welcome, friend.
Thank you for having me. And, maybe if this whole producing thing doesn't work out, I'm familiar with homes. I live in one, and I've bought one, and I enjoy looking at them. So maybe a realtor is in my future.
Well, if nothing else, can you do the commercials for our
Yes,
show?
right.
I am very cheap. That's don't worry about that.
Hey,
one,
we
fellas.
believe in paying fairly, though. We want to,
Of course.
but excited to have Ryan with us. Josh has done a long time. Dennis as well. So just super grateful these guys come in and help us here each Saturday. We're at the halfway point already at the Minnesota Real Estate Show. You can interrupt us at any point. We've got some texts that have come in. We'll get to those after the break here too. 612-294-6949 is how you can join us. Again, we help people buy homes, sell homes, invest in real estate. Please don't ever hesitate to reach out. This is the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Thanks for joining us on social media. A lot of good comments. I appreciate all of you. Good morning. A lot of folks joining us today. Thank you. Adam, those are good thoughts, man. That's really good. It's hard for people to understand that money stuff,
Yeah, it's hard for guys that are in the business to really understand all this. I mean,
Yeah.
It really is. And in terms of what's going to happen and what direction are things going to go, I mean, it's like trying to predict the weather, a month from now or 2 months from now. I mean, there are so many things that change. Even if you're right on what's going to happen, how it's going to be reacted to. I mean, like news articles, the Fed's going to cut interest rates by 50 basis points.
Yeah.
If I knew for sure that's what was going to happen, I still don't know what the market's reaction is going to be to it. And in this case, by the way, the stock market now we're talking about, not the bond or interest rate market. The stock market loved the 50 basis point interest rate cut. So the market's up about 1.2% in aggregate since Wednesday when they made this announcement.
Hey, do you know, everybody watching, listening, or picking this up, that this guy was a music major in college? very talented musically. Tell people about that, bud.
Well, you just did.
What instrument?
I was. My primary instrument is guitar.
Yes.
I played a lot of different instruments, but guitar was the one that I always loved. So
Performance,
I
right?
have. Well, so no, I was a music management major, which originally I was a music performance because but I switched schools so that I could be a music management major, which was basically half business, half music.
Yeah.
In case things didn't work out, which of course they did.
They did. Are you gonna did in music?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
But you still got a studio in your house.
I do. Yeah.
We, the O'Neill brothers, need to bring this guy on tour with us, bud. You need to come up on stage and do a little number.
I never played with you guys, but I did
I know.
narrate your Christmas program one year.
You did.
I was the narrator.
Yeah. Scott, you want to join us?
Cowbell. I
Yeah.
can play
Cowbell's
I can
important.
do cowbell.
Like the percussionist that's got all the like ancillary things. So they're not the normal drummer. They've got like the 5 things. You could do it.
I just want one cowbell. That's all I can do. I am not musically inclined.
Hey, what do we think with the real estate market? Do we think, again, inventory is growing? We got 10% more homes. Do we think it's going to get better for sellers, Scott?
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, I think. I mean, here's my prediction. I think we disagree on this a little bit. I think that the market, again, I've gone over these numbers, but when I list a home that has 1,600 saved searches, I've never seen numbers like that. That means there's 1,600 buyers with their agent that have that criteria saved, but only about 10% or 20% engage. I like to see that number at 90%.
Sure.
So you got this big group of people out there watching, which means they have not liked the interest rate. They have not liked what they're buying, what the number is. So what I think is going to happen is we're going to trend down like we have gone down to 1.2 basically in interest rates over the last 40 days or so, and that people are going to like the interest rate, but I don't believe houses are going to increase like they did in 2022, because I think the market has told us, no guys, we don't like that payment. We don't like that number. So rates go down, housing stays relatively flat. It's going to be very good for some.
Yeah, it is an interesting time. Still, you got to remember, fellow agents, brokers, we're historically low inventory. Still very low inventory. Lots of buyer need emails. I had a really nice meeting with a team member this week, and I said, what's the biggest challenge right now? What can I help with? And she said, we need houses. We need inventory.
Yep.
In other words, she's got 4, 5, 6 buyers,
Yep.
Can't find something. So yeah, I mean, so it's different. Market time's increasing, but yeah, we need more inventory, guys.
Yeah, it's increasing, and we can talk about it. But like I'm showing houses in the 400 range. The difference between 15 offers on one or it's sitting for 100 days is 10 grand.
Right.
I mean, and that's the problem is people are chasing a number that no one is reaching for anymore.
Here we go.
Go ahead.
We're going live on air. Welcome back to the second half of the Minnesota Real Estate Show. We appreciate you joining us, whether you're catching us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, you name it, or on, of course, here at WCCO. We do appreciate it. We've got Adam Hartong, Midwest Money Management, in studio with us. Before we dive back in with Adam. Did want to touch on one other listing, Laura Marquardt, a great agent on the Minnesota real estate team and RE/MAX Advantage Plus. She's got one in Farmington. This just came on the market, 1204 Prairie View Trail in Farmington, listed for $250,000. It's got a freshly painted interior, new carpet throughout, a 2-story living room. She said is a showstopper. It features a vaulted ceiling, a beautiful fireplace, cozy loft area that offers the perfect spot for a home office and play area. It's got a private patio, perfect for that morning coffee or evening barbecues. And it's a peaceful setting with easy access to all the amenities. 1204 Prairie View Trail in Farmington, listed for $250,000. Laura Marquardt, outstanding agent on the team. Be sure to check that one out. Adam Hartong, you got a big, 25 years Midwest Money Management's been rocking. You got a big event?
This month, yeah, we do. On October 8th, we are having a boat cruise just to celebrate 25 years in business. It's on the Mississippi River, the paddle forward river boats. That's going to be from 5 to 8 on October 8th. And again, so far it's been all clients and business associates that we've invited. We've got a big group of people coming, but we do still have more room on the boat. So I thought I would let radio listeners know, if you are interested in meeting our team, meeting some of our clients, just hanging out and having fun. We're gonna have hors d'oeuvres. We'll have live music. We're gonna have a magician on the boat.
Really?
Yeah. So
Fun.
It should be a fun time. If you're interested, you can RSVP on our website at midwestmoneymanagement.com. Just go to events and archives and you can RSVP right there. We are looking for RSVPs by September 27th. And otherwise, you can also call our office at 651-204-3000. Again, that's 651-204-3000, and let us know that you'd like an invitation, and we'll get you all the details.
Yeah, come with us. Ryan and I will buy you a drink.
Yeah, right. You guys are both going to be there, I
Yes,
believe. Yeah.
yes.
Yep.
We'll be
We'll be there.
Yeah, it will be fun. It reminds me of years ago, Mr. Adam. We had a fun boat trip as well with
We
my
did.
dear brother Tim. We got the crew together, and you were on that one. That was a long time ago too.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, it'd be fun though. Check that out again, MidwestMoneyManagement.com. Adam and his team, just great people. Very low sales pitch, no sales pitch at all. Just fun, and I encourage CCO listeners to check that out, regardless of where you're at in the money process. I think what happens, Adam, maybe with a lot of people, is they feel embarrassed, or they feel, yeah, I'm not. Why would I talk to someone, a financial planner? I don't, I just filed bankruptcy, or I work at this job and make minimum wage, or I do this. I mean, I think people forget that you are there for everyone, specifically to help people, be able to bounce ideas, kind of vet another idea.
And get them to a stronger state. Again, we have clients that come in at all stages of life. Obviously, we love it when we have those people that come in that are getting ready to retire, and they've already kind of accumulated all their assets, and they're just ready to figure out how can we be efficient tax-wise to distribute those assets and protect them. And our firm is great at that. But we're also really good at working with those people that are younger, or maybe haven't gotten to that point in their life, and trying to make sure they're on track to get there.
Yeah,
I was gonna ask you a question, not as much real estate related, I guess kind of, but I have noticed a real intensity and kind of wanting from the younger generation, the 22 to 28-year-olds, really wanting to understand money, really interested in building a real estate portfolio. I mean, when I was 21, it was, what am I going to do? When am I going to Pacific Club next? I mean, I wasn't thinking about any of that. And I'm seeing a lot of my younger clients really focused on, going to buy this one at this rate, then I'm going to rent it, I'm going to buy the next. And a lot of them within 2-3 years have already done that at the ages of like 22 and 23. Are you seeing that at all?
I think so, Scott. Yeah. It's hard without tracking the actual numbers, but just anecdotally, I think you're right. I think that there are more 20-somethings that are engaging us at a higher level than they ever have before.
I've noticed that a lot. It reminds me of a bunch of O'Neill relatives.
Yes. That would be
Here's my thought though with that is I think from doing this show, we've done this the Minnesota Real Estate Show literally for, I don't know, we got to figure it out.
About 20
years. Yeah. But over 20 years, we've seen a lot of different markets. And I think what happened during the foreclosure market, when values dropped significantly, short sale market, I'm sure a lot of kids saw mom and dad go through a really hard time, whether again, losing the house.
52% of all transactions at that time were bank mediated. So a lot, I agree with what you're saying. Kids saw their folks lose their house.
Yeah. And so I think maybe that saying, look, maybe are there other things that I can do to be proactive about it and have a conversation? Really good point. Again, 612-294-6949 is how you can join us at the Minnesota Real Estate Show. This was a text that came in that just said, hey guys, should I leave my money in that savings account at my bank? I know that's a really open-ended question. It's paying a little over 4%. Kind of general thoughts.
You should be getting a little over 4% right now. If you're not, you can get better someplace else without taking any additional risk. So if this is money that you want zero risk with, you want to just have it available, if this is emergency type funds, then a 4% plus interest rate savings account is a great place for it to be. On the other hand, can you get more than 4% potentially, if you're willing to invest it for the longer term, the answer is absolutely yes. But then it's just a matter of, are you willing to put the money somewhat at risk in the short term to get those longer term benefits? And that really comes back to what the purpose of the money is.
When we talk investing, and again, we've shared it a few times over the years, but don't forget real estate investing, okay? Real estate investing is a great alternative, a great option, additional option for investing. Adam had a significant impact on me starting from a real estate investing standpoint. I know on Scott as well. And so again, just as a younger person, an older person, wherever you're at, there are ways you can do it. We do a monthly seminar. If you go to mnrealestateshow.com, it's a free monthly event. We talk about investing in real estate. How can it be done in Twin Cities, not in Tupelo, Mississippi, or San Diego, California? How does it work here? That's what we talk about, Adam.
Yeah, I one thing you and I both did when we were young, Ryan, that was one of the things that set me up personally financially for where I'm at today was, when I was in my young 20s, I bought a duplex, lived in half of it, rented out the other half. And essentially, it made it so I lived for almost free at that point.
Right.
And as a young single guy, that was a great way for me to get started.
Yeah, it's one of the things that I promote. Well, I try to explain to my kids. They all go with Adam, but think about it this way: to make 10% on $200,000, you have to put $200,000 away somewhere where you get 10% on it. If you're buying a $200,000 duplex, you can put 3% down, so you only have $6,000. $6,000 out of your pocket to make money on $200,000.
Yes.
I mean, that's as simple as it is for me. It always has been. In order to be able to make it on that money, you either have to put it away or buy something of value that potentially goes up.
Yeah, and it is. If you have interest in it, again, mnrealestateshow.com. You can see all of our seminars. We also do a first-time homebuyer one. Guys, before the break, too, our friend, Mr. Jim Slater. Jim's a wonderful guy with Coldwell Banker here in the Twin Cities. He's doing a broker open. This is open to all the fellow agents and brokers in the Twin Cities. It's coming up this Tuesday, September 24th from 11 to 1. So 11 to 1. And it's on Prior Lake, 15394 Fish Point Road, southeast in Prior Lake. And Jim says he's serving beverages and snacks will be provided. He's looking for some great price opinions right on the lake there, 15394 Fish Point Road, southeast. Scott, beautiful photos. People love Prior Lake.
They do, and I'll tell you what, I know we have a lot of agents that listen to the show. If you've never met Jim Slater, it is worth the drive for the snacks and to just get a little bit of his knowledge on Prior Lake. He has forgotten more about selling real estate on Prior Lake than I will ever learn. The man knows that lake. So if you're an agent that has some time, go out there and go to the open. It'll be worth it.
Yeah, we're up against our final break at the Minnesota Real Estate Show. After the break, going to continue our discussion with Adam Hartung of Midwest Money Management, MidwestMoneyManagement.com. This is the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Thanks for joining us. Lots of folks on social. We appreciate it. I appreciate it. Adam, what else you got for us today, buddy?
It's interesting. You were talking, Scott, about what you think is going to happen with the housing market. I don't have an answer on what's going to happen here, but one of the things that exists right now is, and when we talk about inflation and rising costs, all these things, we have these two groups of people. We have people like me that have an interest rate that's below 3%. And then we have another growing group of people, all the people that are having to buy houses or move for whatever reason, that have these interest rates in the 6% range, right?
Yep. And
in the dichotomy between the buying power that those consumers have for everything else is so different. I mean, I was talking. We have a young person on our team that bought a true starter home recently, and her mortgage payment is. My mortgage payment is $400 a month more than hers.
Yes.
Yeah.
But my house,
Yes.
I mean, it's not even comparable. And it's inherently unfair, quite frankly, that that I can live in the house that I do for $400 a month more than this young person who's, working hard, getting ahead in a starter home. And again, how am I ever going to sell? Why would I ever sell my house to have to go buy something else at current interest
That's
rates? And I do think this is going to have an effect on the real estate market for decades.
For
probably.
sure it is. Well, think about this. I had sold a bunch of homes in 2022 to a first-time home buyers. Interest rates were at 2.7%. Parents helped them get in because they were competing on everything they get in. So I called a bunch of them when rates went into 7.5, and I said, hey, if at that time, if I had said, hey, why don't you buy $1.2 million house instead of 450, you would have looked at me like I was out of my mind.
Sure.
It's the same payment.
Yeah.
These
Payment shock.
these people right now, these new buyers, if they're buying 450, their payment is the same as if you bought $1 million back in 2022. That's how 7% to 2.7 is the difference.
Right. And I think that's what the last couple of years in our market after COVID, that's what we've all experienced is with that slowdown. And it's like, what are the reasons people are moving? Though the rate is only down 1%, at what point will people say, yeah, it is a higher rate, but we've got another kid, or we just filed for divorce, or we are relocating to another area.
Right.
At what point will it be enough to cause them to move? And I think that's the interesting.
And even after that happens, though, to my point, I think for another 10, 15 years, there's still going to be two distinct different groups of people. The people that were before the interest rate change and the people after. And rates don't normally change. It was unprecedented how much they changed, how quickly. And that's why normally you have time to kind of adjust. The market moves slowly, these things change. And so it's kind of all one marketplace just kind of adjusting.
Yeah.
Now it's like we have two separate marketplaces.
You
We
sure
really
do.
do.
You sure do. So Kevin Curtis and I are really good friends on the team, and we've both been in the business for 100 years. And my clients, they're not going anywhere. So for the last couple of years, for the first time ever, I've actually had to look, and Kevin and I have had this conversation at getting new business.
New
right?
business.
All
You
my-
need new business.
Because all my business came from my past clients and referrals. Well, you're not going anywhere, and most of your friends, right, that are in the same situation,
Well, new business, and he's starting to color his hair.
never.
To what he should do.
I will never.
He
color.
showed up and he had
Never
hair
color my
almost
hair.
hair like hair. Ryan's got awesome hair. He's got this dark head of hair. And I imagine if Scott came in one Saturday, I think we should see some comments. I'm seeing a lot of comments.
With hair,
People like
what's
this.
it called? The Grecian hair formula. My dad did that once.
Here we go. We're going back on here. Hey, welcome back, folks. This is WCCO. We hope you're doing well. Whether you are here in the cities, you're up north, you're out on the lake, we hope you and your families are doing well, having a great weekend. Love having our friend, Mr. Adam Hartung, always on air with us. Adam, just a wonderful guy, all around class act. Did have one final listing to hit. This one's Mr. Mike Hilber's got one in Big Lake, 516 Fairmeadows Drive for $240,000. It's a 2-bed, 1-bath home built in 2002. It's a perfect starter home, Mike says, and it's got new paint, carpet, flooring throughout, in-ground sprinkler system. Again, check that one out, 516 Fairmeadows Drive in Big Lake for $240,000. Each week, again, if you have questions, comments, thoughts about your neighborhood, your specific type of home, you're wondering about maybe value, we are always happy to do a free market analysis. There's no obligation to have to do anything with it. Just a way to get an idea. Hey, what's going on with the market? Where are things at? We hear these guys talking about interest rates and different things. Just know we've got a top agent on the Minnesota real estate team. Wherever you are listening to this right now, we'd be honored to help you.
Yeah, absolutely. Oops. Only been doing this for 20 years, forgot my mic. And also, if you're an agent, we don't do this a lot, but if you're an agent or a newer agent that maybe you don't feel like you're getting the training that you think you should be, you feel kind of alone out there. You're not really understanding what you should be doing in real estate, or maybe you're an agent that's in that your production's not what it should be. Definitely reach out to the team, Minnesota Real Estate Team. You can go through mnrealestateshow.com. I've just seen a lot of agents that have struggled through the years that have come under Ryan's tutelage that have done incredibly well. So if you're in that situation, reach out.
Yeah, and I want to add, Ryan all the time is such a gracious guy, talks so highly of everyone else. He's always the first guy to compliment somebody. But Ryan is truly probably the greatest individual I've ever known. He is one of the most kind and caring and thoughtful people that you will ever meet, and anybody that's ever spent even 2 minutes with Ryan would walk away saying that. So there's no better team you could be on than his.
You're too kind. You are too kind.
Very true.
You are too kind. Thank you. You're too gracious. I appreciate you guys. We've had a long friendship, guys. We've had a lot of fun over the years. When you think about from meeting in that Farmington. Had you met Adam yet before you had gotten in there?
I can't remember if I think you introduced me to Adam.
Yeah.
I think you introduced me to Adam.
I knew Ryan. Obviously, you and I knew each other, Ryan.
Yeah.
And I asked Scott to come to that because I hadn't met you yet, but it was your father-in-law at the time.
That's right.
Carl
was working with you.
Who said that you should come, and then you guys met each other at the event. So.
Adam Hartung, Midwest Money Management. And again, we appreciate you listening to the show from week to week. If you ever have questions about market conditions, moving forward, Adam gave some commentary about interest rates dropping 0.5 percentage point and how that's going to affect long-term rates as well. Adam, any other thoughts about that for whether people are in the real estate market, whether they're just following it, whether they're interested with investing?
Here is one thing that I would say. If you're trying to figure out mortgage interest rates, and if you're waiting to buy a house because you're waiting for something to happen with mortgage interest rates to go down, for example, don't watch. When you hear everything about the Fed's going to cut rates again, and they're talking about they're going to cut rates maybe 5 or 6 more times in the next year, remember that doesn't have any direct impact on mortgage rates. So I'm not making a prediction as to whether or not mortgage rates will go up or down. But when you hear somebody saying the Fed's going to cut rates 5 more times, and you think that means you should wait because it means mortgage rates are going to go down, that is not the case at all. The two do not correlate with each other directly like that.
But the perception in the marketplace when rates go down is that the home market is going to start to heat up. So I always think in terms of who can benefit from a 6-month window. And right now, if you are selling, so for example, you're going to downsize in a year. You're moving to Florida in 2 years. Any of the situations where you're going to be getting out of your more expensive home and doing something else. I believe we are going to have one last run here. If rates drop into the 4s, all these 1,600 people that are, I've used before, that are on every search are going to jump into the market, and you are going to kind of get another top dollar swing before things settle back down. So again, when I look at it, who should do something right now, or at least have a conversation, is if you are in that downsizing time frame, maybe you're retiring, maybe you're going to Arizona, whatever it is, you should give us a call.
Yeah, again, Adam Hartung, Midwest Money Management. Your boat cruise, when's your big boat cruise again, bud?
Yes, it is October 8th. And so, it'll be that evening. And if you want more information, you can find it on our website, MidwestMoneyManagement.com, or you can give us a call, 651-204-3000.
Yeah, again, 651-204-3000. Great job, as always. You elevate the intellectual level of our conversation when you are on there, young man.
All right, well, I do what I can.
You definitely do.
Scott, last thoughts for listeners?
I think just pay attention to listen to the show. Obviously, we hopefully that you tune in, but I do think there is going to be a very substantial beneficial change here in the next 3, 4, 5, 6 months. So just pay attention with your real estate expert. Pay attention to the show, and we'll hopefully keep you up to date.
Yeah, again, we appreciate you listening to the Minnesota Real Estate Show every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. One other quick note, if you go to mnrealestateshow.com and you're looking for a trusted professional that has anything to do with real estate, we have, through our work over the 20 years, we have kind of put together a wonderful group of folks, from home inspectors to attorneys to a handyman to home warranty companies, to really anything that you can imagine. These are people that we work with as a team, we actively work with, and we highly recommend. So mnrealestateshow.com is where you can see that list, Scott. These are really the best of the best.
Yeah, they have, and most of them, like I said, have been vetted, obviously. They've been with us for a long, long time. Through the years, you might have seen some that have disappeared. We do make sure that everybody holds the same kind of thoughts that we do on how people are handled.
Yeah. Same customer
Customer
service.
service.
Yeah, again, big thanks to Ryan for coming in today. Adam Hartung, Midwest Money Management. Be sure to check that out. Scott Wolmering, again, of the Minnesota Real Estate Team and REMAX Advantage Plus. We appreciate you tuning in, everybody. Hope your weekend is going well and you have a great weekend. Reach out anytime. mnrealestateshow.com. We're here to help you. There's no questions too big or too small. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, everybody. Take care now. Thanks for joining us on social media. I appreciate it. Had a lot of nice comments. Jennifer Ritzman, good morning. Jennifer, good morning. Mark DePonte, I'm undecided on who to vote for November 3rd, so I'm going to write in Ryan. Too kind. Thank you. Hey, it was a fun show. We appreciate you all. Thank you all for joining us. Guys,